Making an easel.
Don't start yet, man. Sure. You want to start?
Looking lovely.
Alright, so we are about to make an easel, and we're doing this Zori construction easy way. So first we have 3 half-inch PVC end caps, 2 half-inch elbows, 1 half-inch T, and we have 1 length half-inch schedule 40 PVC pipe. And our tools, we have our handy screw gun, our measuring tape, a PVC cutter, a paintbrush, or paint, and we also have panhead self-drilling screws that we're going to use to fasten the connections. You may opt to use PVC glue instead of using the screws, but for easy disassembly and reassembly of the easel, it's better to just use screws. Alright, so we're going to begin by measuring and cutting our pipes to length. Alright, so we are looking for, alright, so we'll have our 4 feet mark. We are looking for 56. That's 4 feet 6 inches. This will allow our easel to be tall enough. We'll get our pencil and we're just gonna mark that there, and then we're gonna run a Chinese double check on it and make sure. Alright, and that's bullseye at 56, and then we're gonna just go ahead and cut that with our PVC cutter. Quick and easy. And so we need 3 pieces of these. All must be the same size. So we have marked the first one. So just even up the ends like that, perfectly even. And then we mark. Right? And then we're going to cut out our mark again. Beautiful when you have one of these PVC cutters. It makes your life so much easier. Alright, so now that we have gotten these 3 pieces together, we're going to cut again. Alright, now we're going to take a short piece of pipe and we are going to measure 4 inches.
Why?
We're going to mark that, and we're going to be using 2 of these 4-inch pieces, and these are going to form a coupler, a tie at the head of our easel. You want to ensure that all the pieces are the same. Alright, there we go. Alright, we'll save our extra piece for use at another time. Alright, so now we are going to dry fit our easel to make sure all our portions are together. We put the pipe in, we're going to put a mark here. We're also going to put a mark here. And we're going to add our elbow. We're going to add our other elbow. Alright, rest them on a level surface. Twist everybody down flat. Ensure that they're all lined up. And put a mark here, and then we mark this here, we mark this here, a mark here. Good. Alright, so now we know that this is the front and this is going to be the rear. So I'm going to put a mark now. It's about 3/16 of an inch from the end, and we're taking it about 3/4 away from the top, like that. About 3/4 away from the bottom like this. And we're going to make a little thin cut out in this. Doing the same thing on this side. I'm doing this freehand, but you can measure it to be precise. If you're not a professional like me, go ahead and use your tape and just measure to ensure that you're accurate. Alright, now I'm going to remove both of these elbows. And then we're going to get our handy drill and we are going to go to work, because this is not going to spin, this is not going to spin. Right? It's going to spin at the two ends. So get our drill. We plug it in. Start very slowly just through so that it doesn't slip. Okay, there we go. It's the first one in. That's the second one. Now hold it. Start slowly. Alright, there we go. Alright, that's a firm connection. Let's set this aside. Now we're going to pull for our blade, our trusted hacksaw. You can also use your grinder for this. I prefer the hacksaw because this is a very small item and you do not want to use a grinder and it slips on you. Work with the speed at which your hacksaw will work. Do not move too fast so as not to injure yourself. So we're just cutting those two lines. Alright, there we go. So on the side like that. And just cut this out. And use my point of my PVC cutter to just gently pick on this. And remember to be careful, if the blade of the PVC cutter is extremely sharp and it can cut you if not used properly. Okay, so there we go. We would have created a very small cut in this, and this is what is going to prevent our easel from toppling over or from falling down. I will show you how this works in just a moment. Alright, so there we go. You can see that cut right there. Alright, I just clean it up a little bit more. Hold it firm. Very gently with my hacksaw. Alright, nice. Alright, now get the other one done. Alright. Same thing again. Attempt to pick it out. Alright, there we go. It's up. That's out. Alright, that's clean. Beautiful cut. Alright. Now, want to keep all the screws on one side. So I'll attach that there. You notice? Yeah. And then I'll also attach this there. Alright. And now for the fun part. We are going to begin by putting in the rest of putting in our legs. Okay. It's leg number 1. Okay. So our balance leg. And there's our third leg. Now we are just going to set it like this, and already you're seeing an easel. Now I'm going to measure down on this, and I'm going to put a mark at 20 inches, and do the same thing on the other side. Get that mark at 20 inches. Very good. Now I'm going to go back on the work table, turn this upside down. Now to help you to know where to put your screw, you can just simply turn this out like that, about that distance, and this would be, when you put your tape on the table, that would be about 27 or 28 inches, and then you just simply come with your screw, and we're going to put our screw at the head of our cutout, so that when we fold it, it goes back down flat, and then our screw will end up at the base of our cutout, and this will prevent it from going up. So you want to get, alright, you want to have that held in place. If you don't have an assistant to hold it for you, you may just do a little contraption that will hold it in place for you. Yeah, and for these, you're not going to over tighten these. You're going to ensure that there's a little freedom in there. Now, watch what happens. See, it goes right down and lies down flat. And then when you lift it up, it goes, and it can't go back any further because the screw comes and buck against the cutout. And it goes down that way. So now you're balanced. Alright, I'm going to get your completion. So we have 1, 2, 3 areas now to be screwed in place so that this doesn't pull apart. Always remember, when you're working with tools, even though I'm not doing it, you should do it, especially if you want to protect yourself. Make sure that you're wearing your safety goggles, and in some cases you may also need to wear gloves. Alright, now because these are snug, we're just gonna fit them tightly on the base, so that if at any point in time we'd like to remove them, we can do so. Alright, so I want to get this one onto this. You've noticed 2 are round, that one is not. Right, so it's a bit snug, so I have to just like the top is a bit off. See how tight it is? Alright. Alright, there are times when you may have to put the middle foot a little bit shorter so that it can balance. Now, so, alright, so now we're going to add another element to our easel. Now, as you may notice, it's a piece of tile strip. So I'm going to measure my width that I'm working with. Notice at the top here I have 1 foot, but I want to spread this, so I'm going to make this strip about 16 inches. So this will project the legs of my easel out like this, which will give it balance and prevent it from toppling over. And that is very important. So I'm going to go with 20 inches. I'm just going to put my mark on this. Alright, let us use the trusty marker to get this mark. Alright. Okay, there. Now we can see. So I'm going to begin by cutting this. Very gentle. You notice I'm only pulling my hacksaw to me, and I'm not pushing. And the reason for that is because it's a very thin metal strip. Now I can pull and push because I've passed through that first edge. And now there we go. So I would have gotten that off. So now I'm gonna put this aside. And then you notice the edges are very sharp. So what I'm going to do is I am going to break the edges by just simply folding them back. Right, so I no longer have that sharp edge, and then I can just, because the metal is so thin, I can press it in by hand without damaging the metal. And then for this now, we are going to get this back on our table. You remember there was, so you're going to turn the metal so that this little hook is at top. So whether you're putting a whiteboard or whatever device you're placing on your easel, that it will be able to balance. Now, we would have cut this at 20 inches. So we are going to subtract 2 inches from each end. So we're going to take our marker again. I'm going to measure 2 inches from each end and put a trusty little mark. That's where our screw is going to go. I'm going to do the same thing here again. Alright. Having done that, then we are going to double check to make sure that our 20-inch mark is there, the right spot. So we're supposed to be at 20. So mark at 20 again. Come over here. Make sure that that is 20. And this is very important, otherwise when you put up your easel, if it's not at the right spot, then it's going to look lean and look crooked. So you have to ensure that it's at the right spot. Alright? Okay, so there we go. Alright, now we're ready for our trusty drill again. I have my 2-inch line up mark there. Alright, remember, start gentle. Alright, here we go. Again. I'm just going to move these materials out the way. Always ensure that you have enough space to work. And we turn this around like this. Alright. Get me another trusty screw. And this is the part that is a little tricky. Alright. So when you push it across like this, screw. Hold in place. Alright, there we go. And here you are, a trusty easel that will not topple over. Alright, and you may be saying, what about the rear leg? Won't it snap? No, notice what I'm doing. It's not going any further. And the reason for that is simply because of those screws in that cutout that we did in the beginning of the video. Right, that is the purpose that it holds. It prevents it from going back further. So once you put it on a level area, you'll be fine and you will have had a trusty easel to work with. And that's it for today. Left to do is paint this in the color that you like, and you're good to go. Alright, there you go. That's all you need.